G'day Pickleball family. First thing to know, as shared on the dinkpickleball.com, the turf war between tennis and pickleball is escalating. The Wall Street Journal recently published an article shedding light on an issue that's been bubbling up in the world of racket sports. The turf war between tennis and pickleball is escalating. While the US Tennis Association, USTA, initially framed the rise of pickleball as beneficial for both sports, there's no denying the two are now locked in a turf war. And as pickleball's meteoric rise continues, tennis is starting to feel the squeeze. According to the Sports and Fitness Industry Association in the US, pickleball participation has surged by 223% in just the past 3 years, with over 10 million people picking up a paddle in the US in the last 12 months rather. With this surge in players, courts across the country are being repurposed. In fact, the USTA estimates that at least 10% of tennis courts in the US have been converted for pickleball use. Lou Scher, CEO of the USTA, acknowledged the challenge this presents for tennis. There aren't enough courts to support tennis growth. Court infrastructure is being compromised with people playing pickleball on those courts or courts being repainted. This court repurposing isn't just happening at public parks. It's a major trend at private clubs where the economics are too tempting to ignore. The maths is simple. A tennis court serves up to 4 players, while that same space can be divided into 4 pickleball courts, accommodating up to 16 players. Clubs can rent out more space, cater to more members, and generate more revenue with just a few strokes of paint. What makes this situation even more pressing for tennis is the sport's own revival. The Wall Street Journal notes that the USTA expects to surpass 24.5 million players this year, and it's aiming to reach 35 million by 2035. Scher credits part of this resurgence to the flexibility people found during the pandemic, with tennis offering a safe, socially distanced activity. But with both sports experiencing growth, the battle for court space is heating up. As Scher points out, participation is not zero-sum, but the court space is. In other words, the problem isn't a lack of interest in either sport, it's simply a matter of finding enough courts to go around. Even tennis legends are taking notice. At Wimbledon this year, 24-time Grand Slam champion Novak Djokovic expressed concern about the financial and logistical impact of pickleball's rise, along with Europe's equivalent, padel. He emphasised the importance of protecting tennis infrastructure, saying, if we don't do something about it, we're going to see more tennis courts converting to padel and pickleball because it's cheaper. Djokovic's concern is echoed by many in the tennis community who worry that if tennis doesn't adapt, it could lose more ground to pickleball. As noted in the article, converting a tennis court to a pickleball or padel is simply more cost-effective and offers clubs a higher return on investment. To combat the growing popularity of pickleball, the USTA is introducing its own social, beginner-friendly alternative, red ball tennis. According to the article, this version of tennis uses softer, slower balls and smaller courts to provide an experience similar to what draws people to pickleball. Minimal running, easy-to-learn gameplay, and a relaxed social atmosphere. Most importantly, red ball tennis can be played on existing tennis courts without any permanent modifications. The USTA is pushing this format as a way to introduce more people to tennis while utilising the same facilities that could otherwise be converted for pickleball. The initiative is already being played at over 500 venues by 20,000 people in the US, though those numbers pale in comparison to the millions flocking to pickleball courts. Ultimately, the Wall Street Journal article highlights a key truth. While pickleball and tennis are both growing, they're competing for the same finite resource, court space. Pickleball's rapid expansion has undoubtedly made it a force to be reckoned with, but tennis is far from fading away. The USTA is making efforts to adapt, but as pickleball continues to attract players with its accessible and affordable format, this battle for court space is likely to continue. It's clear that both sports are here to stay, but facilities across the country will need to find ways to accommodate the growing demand. Whether it's repurposing existing courts or building new ones, this turf war is far from over. Thanks ever so much for making it this far into the update. Please be sure to hit subscribe so this and future episodes can be found by other fellow pickleballers. Second thing to know, as shared on kansascitymag.com, Smash hit, the world's first compostable pickleball hits the market, and it's made in Kansas City, Missouri, USA. It's no secret that pickleball has taken over. You can't walk into a public park in the US on a Saturday morning without hearing that familiar pop. And just as pickleball's popularity keeps growing, so does the drive for product innovations that both enhance the game and make it greener. Nearly 500 million pickleballs end up in landfill each year. Angel Morales, a seasoned expert in engineering and plastics and a pickleball enthusiast, found that out and knew that there must be a way to reduce pickleball waste. Having spent 19 years designing and developing kids' meal toys and restaurant cutlery, Morales combined his experience in plastic materials with his passion for pickleball and began a new business venture. He started with the obvious first, the paddle. When I started playing pickleball, I quickly noticed that many high-quality paddles were made from carbon fiber, he says. I bought a few, and with my manufacturing curiosity, I cut them open and discovered they had a plastic polypropylene blend inside. Morales then embarked on designing his own paddles. He co-founded Pro Pickle, a manufacturing brand that allows companies to create bespoke paddles by selecting from various carbon fiber surfaces, polypropylene honeycomb cores of different dimensions and thicknesses, handle lengths, and grip materials and colors. Morales' background in hospitality-related plastic products also made him acutely aware of the shift toward eco-friendly materials and the demand for more easily degradable products. I noticed the balls were made from LDPE, low-density polyethylene, which is really tough to recycle, he says. The Professional Pickleball Association, or PPA, uses Vulcan brand balls in professional games, and they must replace the ball after every single game. Matches consist of 3 games, with the spent balls heading straight to the trash. So Morales took action and began crafting a more eco-friendly pickleball. We went probably through 900 to 1,000 different recipes trying to create a ball that performed like a standard pickleball, Morales says. Factors to consider included durability, bounce, hardness, size, weight, and even the number of holes. After extensive testing and trial, the final product, Compostable, was born. According to Morales, Compostable bounces 8% higher than a standard pickleball. We initially saw this as a potential issue, he says, but after conducting interviews and surveys, we found it was actually quite acceptable, especially for beginners and recreational players. It even helps players get a better feel for the sport. Compostable's material also softens the iconic pop sound associated with the sport. It's about 8 to 10% quieter than the standard pickleball. And as for sustainability, in a compostable environment with sufficient oxygen, bacteria, and specific elements like those found in landfill, the ball, which incorporates rice husk and wheat straw materials, will break down within 100 days once those conditions are met. When it comes to longevity, compostable performs just like a standard pickleball under normal conditions. Leaving it in your bag or car won't make it degrade any faster, Morales says. In fact, compostable held up better in testing than a high-quality market pickleball, whereas the market's best selling balls could take 600 to 800 hits without breaking or warping. Compostable withstood 1,900 to 2,000 hits before cracking. Third thing to know, as shared on pickleball52.com, Laville and Morris impress at Scottish Open. The Scottish Open has crowned its 2 singles champions recently, Lewis Laville in the men's competition and Katie Morris in the women's. Laville defeated James Lofthouse 15-4 in the final at Scotstoun Leisure Centre in Glasgow, while Morris beat Scottish Hope Lucy Elliott 15-2 to win her maiden singles gold. And the 2 champions doubled up, winning the mixed doubles 15-9 in the final against Molly O'Donoghue and Paul Van Loon. Laville took it a step further, teaming up with Ben Corsten to beat Thomas Cairns and Alex Manone-Stoke 15-6 and win the men's doubles as well. Morris came close to emulating his achievement, though, losing 15-5 in the women's doubles final alongside Hermione Baxter-Chinnery to Elliott and Corinna Whitaker. Singles went well. I tried to stay focused and not give away any cheap points and managed to come through the group games pretty comfortably. and was able to up my level and stay pretty clinical in the semis and finals, she told Pickleball 52. It's the first double crown for me. I'm really happy with the weekend. Katie was a class above all others on the day, added Laville, who was quick to thank Pickleball Scotland for a well-organised and enjoyable tournament. Looking back on the men's doubles, he reflected, Ben and I played really well throughout the day and just made sure we made it really tough for our opponents to score points against us. We played a few tournaments together now in the same outfits, and we're currently unbeaten in it, which is quite cool. He added, it was nice to get my second triple crown of the year, and I'm looking forward to competing more for the rest of 2024. Laville and Morris will both feature next in Stuttgart, Germany, as part of the Road to Aalborg series. Paddles up.